In the heart of the lush valley, where the grass sways with the rhythm of the wind and the sky stretches out like an endless canvas, Percival, a sprightly youth with the fire of life in his eyes, chases the winds of destiny. His gaze is anchored to the skies, where a majestic rock-winged bird, an ethereal creature that seemed to borrow its wings from a fantastical realm, dances upon the air currents. It is an uncommon sight. This winged marvel, a glimpse of nature's rare artistry, and it ignites within Percival a fervent desire to not let this fleeting wonder slip through his fingers. He shouts with youthful exuberance, his voice carrying over the open field to where his grandfather stands, a figure of age-worn resilience. The call to action sparks a gleam in the old man's eyes, a remnant of youthful vigor that time had not entirely claimed. With the ease of a seasoned warrior, he surveys the land for his impromptu armory and seizes upon a pitchfork, an ordinary tool about to be wielded with extraordinary skill. The moment is charged with an electric anticipation. With the strength of bygone days, the grandfather raises the pitchfork as though it were a warrior's spear, and with a motion that belies the tremble in his hands from age's relentless march, he propels it through the air. It arcs gracefully, a testament to his undimmed precision, and meets its target with a thud that resonates through the field, an echo of triumph against the stillness of nature. As the avian quarry succumbs to gravity's call, spiraling down towards the jagged maw of the cliffside, Percival's heart races. His legs move of their own accord, carrying him swiftly to the edge of the precipice, without a moment's hesitation. And with the audacity that only the innocence of youth can muster, he leaps after the tumbling prize. His hand, outstretched, is guided by an unwavering resolve. And as the ground rushes up to greet him, his fingers find salvation in the embrace of an outcropping rock, a hair's breadth from mortality. He secures their winged bounty. With the adrenaline of the hunt still pulsing through his veins, Percival and his grandfather return to their abode, a modest structure that stands as a testament to their simple yet content existence. The elder, with a knowing nod, hands over the preparation of their hard-won meal to Percival. The boy accepts the task with a stoic pride, tackling the chore with a deftness that speaks of his grandfather's diligent tutelage. Evening falls, and they sit, the fruits of their labor laid before them. The meal is hearty, the bird cooked to a perfection that belies its ominous glow, a purple sheen that creeps unnoticed beneath the surface. It is an undercurrent of darkness amidst the satisfaction of a meal well earned, a shadow cast upon their humble feast. With bellies full and hearts full of a day's worth of labor and laughter, the pair step outside. The twilight sky casts long shadows across the land as they engage in their customary duel of strength and skill. The grandfather's experience prevails, as it often does, but there is a narrowing gap between them, a sign of Percival's growing competence, which fills the evening with a playful pride. Post-battle, as the grandfather tends to the remnants of their day, a sliver of recollection pierces the fog of routine. The eve of Percival's 16th year is upon them. The knowledge rushes in like a forgotten tide, pulling him away from the suds and plates, compelling him to find his grandson. Percival, blissfully engaged in nature's own call, receives the reminder of his impending birthday with an indifferent shrug, the significance of the day lost to his simple contentment. Their world, cocooned in the valley's embrace, remains unaware of the larger tapestry of life beyond its borders, a tapestry that Percival, on the morrow of his 16th year, is destined to unravel. Eager for adulthood's privileges, Percival's mind races to the prospect of savoring his first beer, only to learn that while he may shoulder an adult's responsibilities, some indulgences still remain just out of reach. With the patience of a guiding star, his grandfather steers him to the cliff's summit, presenting the boundless canvas of the world beyond their isle, a tapestry of adventure, the vast unknowns to explore, and perhaps, hidden somewhere within its expanse, the legendary treasure known as the One Piece. Percival, unburdened by dreams of distant shores and epic sagas, finds solace in the simple life he leads with his grandfather. As twilight descends upon their tranquil island, Grandpa reminisces about Percival's father, a man whose adventurous spirit led him away at 16, a stark contrast to Percival's contentment. To Percival, the tales of his father are shadows of a past life, and he's come to accept the narrative of his father's demise. Probing gently, Grandpa inquires if Percival ever feels the pang of solitude in their seclusion. But Percival's world is complete with his grandfather's presence. He desires no more. Later, under the celestial glow, Percival's mind wanders to the wonders his grandpa spoke of, his heart fluttering with curiosity. Yet, the joy woven into the fabric of his current life is too precious to trade. As the night deepens, he succumbs to slumber beneath the stars, only to awaken to the sight of a knight upon a levitating vessel, the very same that claimed his airborne quarry. The knight, on a quest for a figure named Verges, finds in Percival an innocent guide, one whose life has been untouched by guile or skepticism. Percival, enthralled by the chivalric image before him, divulges without a second thought the identity of his grandfather as Verges. He is oblivious to the incongruence of a fully armored knight seeking a peaceful reunion or the silence of stories untold by his grandpa about such a visitor. In Percival's world, where trust is as common as the sea breeze, he sees no reason to doubt the knight's intent or attire. He reveals that Grandpa, known as Verges, is just over the hill, tending to the morning's repast. With the innocence of a heart that's never known betrayal, Percival bridges the gap between a mysterious past and the unassuming present, unaware of the tides of fate that may be shifting just beyond the horizon. The moment of revelation strikes Percival like a cold gale, his naivety shattering as he realizes the gravity of his mistake. The knight, under the guise of a benign visitor, had played upon Percival's innocence, manipulating him to reveal Verghese' whereabouts. With the eagerness of youth now replaced by a gnawing dread, Percival dashes back, hoping to undo the potential peril he's unwittingly wrought upon his grandfather. Back at the homestead, the serene morning routine is sliced through by tension as Verghese, once a holy knight, finds himself face to face with a ghost from his past. The knight's intentions are clear, as are the stakes of this confrontation. Their swords sing a discordant duet as Verghese parries a lethal strike, the impact sending him reeling through the air. His home, a symbol of his peaceful life, now collateral in a battle he had long forsaken. As the two warriors engage, it is clear that Verghese' time away from battle has not dulled his instinct, but the knight's assault is relentless. With a devastating blow, the knight remakes Verghese' image, and destruction reigns upon the dwelling that once harbored quietude. Percival's arrival, though driven by desperate hope, is tragically ill-timed. His cries for cessation are swallowed by the cacophony of combat, disregarded by the knight whose thirst for retribution is unquenchable. The knight turns his deadly intent toward Percival, the progeny of Verghese, now marked for the same fate. In a defiant stand, Percival grasps for a weapon of the earth, a stone hurled with the force of fear and fury, only to watch it falter against the knight's might. Unwilling to concede, he ups the ante. Armed this time with a boulder, yet his efforts remain futile, a stark testament to the knight's formidable power. Percival stands, a boy against a tide of vengeance, the knight's lethal magic now aimed at him, teetering on the brink of an abyss much deeper than the cliffs he once leaped with innocent abandon. Amidst the chaotic thrum of battle, where hope seems a fragile thread, Grandpa Verghese intercedes with a desperate plea, casting himself between the knight's lethal intent and Percival's innocence. He urges the boy to flee, to preserve the flicker of life that still clings stubbornly within him. But Percival, with bonds of love binding him to his grandfather, refuses to abandon him to a grim fate. Yet the knight, an executioner cloaked in the guise of righteousness, is resolute. His sword sings a gruesome lullaby, carving pain and despair into Verghese with each unforgiving slash, while a final devastating blast sends Percival reeling, a young life teetering on the precipice of oblivion. As the world blurs into a silent white, snowflakes like ashen tears from the heavens, Verghese confronts his would-be executioner, questioning the timing of his own mortality. The knight reveals his drive, spurred by a prophecy of calamity, of 4 knights of the apocalypse destined to unseat the great King Arthur. In his zeal to thwart fate, the knight deems Verghese a plausible thread in this ominous tapestry, a thread to be cut with cold steel. Percival, defying the knight's overkill, rises, the resilience of youth his shield, confusion and sorrow mingling with the blood he spills. Inexplicably whole, he faces the wreckage of his world, apologizing for his perceived weakness. Verghese, with the lucidity of one staring at eternity, reassures Percival that his strength was never meant to shield someone like him, that the boy's path should lead him to protect the truly deserving. In a poignant confession, Percival admits to harboring a hidden yearning for adventure, a yearning he had denied in fear of disturbing the contentment they shared. And Verghese, in the twilight of his life, grants the boy absolution, confessing his own quiet joy in knowing Percival found happiness in their shared solitude. This raw, unspoken truth hangs between them, a final testament to their bond, as the snow continues to fall, blanketing the remains of innocence in a cold, silent farewell. The quiet of the aftermath is shattered by the harsh gasp of Verghese, his lifeblood escaping amidst a truth too heavy for his fading breath. He confesses to Percival that the knight, the harbinger of their ruin, is none other than Ironside, Percival's own father. This revelation cleaves through Percival's reality, sundering the memories of a father heroically lost to a far grimmer tale. The gravity of the story, layered with complexities and shadows, is too vast for Verghese' dwindling moments. He imparts upon Percival a quest for understanding, a pilgrimage to seek out Ironside and unravel the tapestry of his own lineage. Verghese' apology, laden with a mix of sorrow and pride, entrusts Percival with a journey into the world, armored with the resilience forged from a grandfather's love and teaching. Dawn breaks, and with it, Percival confronts the stillness of loss. The ritual of burial, the earth-embracing Verghese, weighs heavily on his young heart. Solitude envelops him as he repairs the vestiges of their shared life, uncovering a gift beneath the ruins. Garments for the odyssey that Verghese envisioned, each stitch a silent benediction for the adventures that lay ahead. Time, a quiet mourner, watches as Percival erects a stone testament to his grandfather. With the dawn of his departure, he dons the armor of his inheritance, the mantle of Verghese' love settling upon his shoulders. Poised for the first step of many, Percival's resolve is fiery, his spirit unquenchable, even as the playful irony of life sends him tumbling. A reminder that every hero's journey begins with the humility of a fall. And this was another video on the channel Anakazu. If you liked it and want more videos like this, subscribe and leave a like. See you in the next one. As dawn cracked the horizon, casting a gentle glow over the daunting expanse of the towering isle, Percival began his descent. The towering cliffs stretched skywards, defying the heavens with their majestic might. With each precarious step down the craggy face, Percival's hands grappled with the ancient rock, his resolve as steadfast as the stone itself. Though the sun arced across the sky, marking the passage of time with its westward crawl, the earth below remained shrouded in a dense cloak of clouds, as if guarding the secrets of the land beneath from prying eyes. Despite his muscles aching from the relentless climb, Percival's spirit never wavered. Each ledge conquered brought him closer to his goal. Each foothold was a triumph over the vertiginous heights. And when the veil of clouds at last thinned to reveal the ground beneath, a rush of elation surged through Percival's veins. Overcome with the nearness of his goal, his attention faltered just long enough for his grip to slacken. With a startled gasp, he found himself in freefall. The wind howling past his ears, a wild chorus accompanying his descent. The landing was abrupt and jarring, sending clouds of dust skyward. As the haze settled, Percival found himself not alone, but in the presence of a peculiar creature, one that was an enigma to his senses. Its form was an intricate tapestry of the bizarre and fantastical, an embodiment of the unknown realms he had yet to explore. With a mixture of wonder and caution, Percival approached the creature, extending greetings and narrating his tale in a hopeful torrent of words. The creature, however, regarded him with a gaze as opaque as the mist-shrouded isle above, its mind clearly unattuned to the language of men. Undeterred by the absence of dialogue, Percival observed as the creature, perhaps disinterested or simply following some unfathomable instinct, began to amble away. A spark of curiosity ignited within him, urging his legs to follow. The creature, sensing the pursuit, quickened its pace and dashed off with surprising alacrity, leading Percival through a serpentine chase until they reached the unexpected gathering of street performers. Cats, with a flourish of his wrist, sent papers ablaze, crafting a dance of flames that captivated Percival's sight. Beside him, Elba conducted illusions that defied explanation, a monkey appearing and disappearing through hoops as if slipping between worlds. The troupe's third member, aloof and disengaged, withheld his talents in the absence of an audience worthy of his skills. Yet to Percival, their acts were a cascade of wonder, the magic he sought woven into the very fabric of their performance. His arrival, a sudden breach in the solitude of their circle, was met with bemusement and an inkling of opportunity. Percival's entreaty for an encore of their mysterious arts persuaded Donnie, the reluctant performer, to seize the moment, conjuring a spectacle that spirited Percival into the air, laughter spilling from him in delight. The laughter was short-lived, for in the midst of revelry, Donnie had deftly helped himself to Percival's meager possessions. With the troupe in tow, he took flight, leaving behind the mirage of their camaraderie. As they vanished into the distance, reproachful voices arose among them, berating Donnie for his heartless trickery. The notion of leaving a mere boy stranded, bereft of his belongings, in such a desolate expanse weighed heavily upon their consciences. But guilt would not have its day. Percival's resilience was not to be underestimated. With a burst of extraordinary speed and agility, he soon overtook the performers, standing before them with a stoicism that belied his youthful appearance. As Donnie's apologies tumbled forth, laced with a newfound respect and apprehension for the boy's latent power, Percival's thoughts were elsewhere, fixated on the elusive figure of Ironside. Confiding in the troupe, he unveiled the tangled threads of his heritage and his need to face the man who had slain his grandfather. Was it a quest fueled by vengeance or a desperate search for understanding? Percival himself seemed caught in the tumultuous sea between the two. And though the performers knew naught of Ironside, they spoke of a village on the horizon, a place where whispers and rumors might shed light on the shadows of Percival's past. A glimmer of hope alighted in Percival's eyes, a willingness to venture forth with these unlikely companions. The pact was sealed with Donnie's insistence on a performance, Percival's admission into their fold, his unique talent serving as his passage fee into the heart of the village and, perhaps, closer to the truth he sought. As the shadows lengthened and the caravan rolled on through the thickening twilight, the performers decided to test Percival's skills in a more traditional manner. They handed him a bow and a quiver of arrows, their own version of a rite of passage for the young traveler. Percival, eager to demonstrate his worth, notched an arrow with an unsteady hand, only to release it in a direction quite unintended. The arrow sailed perilously close to Donnie, who stood aghast, frozen behind the intended target. Laughter and chiding followed, but it was clear that the troupe bore no ill will. Instead, they seemed to embrace Percival's spirit, if not his marksmanship. The journey resumed, the cart's wheels murmuring against the worn path as the group shared stories and reflections under a canopy of stars. Donnie, usually a man of few words, voiced his discontent with their fate as mere entertainers, far from the knights they once aspired to be. Cats, ever the philosopher, responded with a heartfelt monologue about the nobility of their current path, despite it being strewn with lost dreams and unmet expectations. The conversation meandered to tales of the holy knights, protectors of the realm, whose valor and sacrifices were the stuff of legend. Percival listened with rapt attention, the notion of such knights igniting a sense of connection with his own heritage. The revelation that he was born of that same lineage brought an air of respect and curiosity from the performers, who began to view him in a new light. Their camaraderie was abruptly shattered by the desperate cries of villagers, who came running towards them, pleading for assistance against a wolf that had plagued their peaceful settlement. Donnie, perhaps seeking redemption or simply a bed for the night, hastily volunteered their makeshift brigade to confront the beast. It was a decision made in haste, which soon unraveled as the wolf's fearsome visage revealed the folly of facing such a creature without proper arms or training. The situation turned dire, and the call for the true holy knights rang out in earnest, but not before Percival, driven by a core of bravery and a dash of naivety, lunged from the safety of the cart to face the feral adversary. His initial efforts were comically futile, his arrows turning back upon him like mischievous sprites. Yet, when Donnie leaped to his defense, sustaining a wound in the process, Percival found an inner reservoir of strength. With a primal cry and a slap that echoed through the trees, he felled the wolf, leaving the villagers and his companions in awe of the unsuspected power that dwelled within him. The victory was bittersweet. A symbol discovered on the wolf hinted at a conspiracy, a darker thread woven into the tapestry of Percival's journey. An observer, a knight cloaked in the shadows of magic and malice, noted the boy's victory. His interest piqued. He vowed to confront the child who defied his familiar with such ferocity. In the aftermath, as the village came alive with tales of monstrosities in the night and as Donnie received the care of his comrades, the name of Percival was whispered with reverence. The boy, with the scar etched deep across his torso, a physical riddle of his resilience, had been led by Elba to the lake to rest and recover. As the water's calm surface reflected the enigma of his past, the scar stood as a silent chronicle of trials endured, and a harbinger of the challenges that lay in wait for the young hero whose story was just beginning to unfold. Percival's youthful countenance, marked by a deep scar, belied the gravity of his experience, evoking a strange blend of innocence and fortitude in Elba's eyes. She observed him with a mix of maternal care and respect, recognizing the maturity required to bear such a wound. As they sat together, Elba was captivated by Percival's meticulous recounting of his grandfather's stories, his mind always turning over the old tales, seeking truth in their allegory. When the conversation drifted to Donnie's impromptu defense, Elba posited that perhaps Percival's own daring leap to save the villagers had rekindled a flame of valor in Donnie's heart. It was a moment that suggested even a lapsed dream could stir once more in the presence of genuine heroism. Percival, intrigued by the concept of holy knights, pressed Elba for details. She obliged, painting a picture of noble warriors whose might and magic were bound to the service of justice, far surpassing the playful prestidigitation they had witnessed that day. As night descended, the villagers celebrated with abandon, raising cups of sweet berry juice in honor of Percival. He found himself swept up in the revelry, the simple pleasure of the drink momentarily washing away his burdens. Elba's cheeks tinged with red upon the revelation of Percival's age, her embarrassment recalling their lake encounter in a new light, not as a guardian and child, but as equals. The festivities were punctured by Percival's inquiries for Ironside, his frustration mounting with each negative response. His call into the night may have been born from desperation, but it was answered by Pelegard, the holy knight with a shared history with Percival's forebears. The man descended, not just as a bearer of knowledge, but as a challenge to Percival's quest. While admiration for the boy's fearlessness was evident in his tone, Pelegard was reluctant to reveal more without testing Percival's mettle in combat. The villagers, sensing the tension in the air, melted away into the safety of their homes, intuiting the volatility of the encounter to come. The air seemed to hold its breath as the two figures, young and old, each bearing the weight of their legacy, prepared to collide in a test of strength and will. In the heat of the battle, Percival's raw, unaided strength is enough to unsettle Pelegard, a holy knight, hinting at a wellspring of potential within the young hero. When Pelegard sets the terms of their fight, it becomes clear that this encounter is more than a battle, it's a crossroads for Percival's destiny. Pelegard's interest in training Percival speaks to a recognition of his latent abilities, despite Percival's lack of magical prowess. As the fight escalates, Percival's resilience shines. His tenacity, even in the face of Pelegard's overpowering strikes, is the mark of a true protagonist, and it's this very spirit that resonates with the onlooking villagers, instilling a sense of hope and bravery. When a young spectator's cheer penetrates the chaos, Percival taps into something deep within, a surge of magic, a spark of his latent power. This turning point is critical, marking Percival's journey of self-discovery and power awakening. Pelegard's shock suggests a mixture of betrayal and awe, recognizing that Percival may have been unaware of his own latent magic.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.